Well, Donald Trump and DeSantis's feud with one another is heating up, I would say. And it's fun to watch. It's very fun to watch. So I'm going to show you DeSantis taking quite the jab at Trump or against Trump. But first, we got to show you kind of what he's responding to. So first, DeSantis, a clip of him was floating around talking about how he might be the next Paul Ryan. This was back when he was a congressman. And Trump responded, "Wow," on Truth Social.
I would be somebody who would be different. I think you see that I've been recognized nationally as being somebody who would be different, who would be a leader, who could be somebody like a Paul Ryan very quickly.
And so Trump is trying to say, don't you, within the MAGA base, hate Paul Ryan? He wants to be another one of the establishment rhinos. And he wrote on True Social as well about DeSantis. "Remember, I was 233 to 20 in the midterms and got 1.2 million votes more than Ron DeSantis in the great state of Florida. Also, 12 million more votes in 2020 than in 2016 and won." Of course, he did not win. And whenever he cites those endorsement numbers, 233 to 20, for the most part, he's endorsing safe seats that are obviously going to go to the Republican. And then he goes, "See, they won because of my endorsement." But the seats that mattered, the seats that were questionable, which way will they go, Trump's endorsement seemed to hurt often. But calling again Ron DeSantis Ron DeSanctimonious and making himself out to be much better than DeSantis. Then he calls DeSantis a rhino globalist. Thank you. The real Ron is a rhino globalist who closed quickly down Florida and even its beaches, loved the vaccines, and wasted big money on testing. How quickly people forget. And so one of the narratives that Trump has been going with recently is DeSantis is trying to rewrite history, as you'll see him saying here recently in his plane.
Nikki Haley called me the other day to talk to me. I talked to her for a little while, but I said, look, go by your heart if you want to run. She's publicly stated I would never run against my president. He was a great president. Florida was actually closed for a very long period of time. Remember, he closed the beaches and everything else. They're trying to rewrite history. Nikki Haley called me.
Trump is being attacked by kind of the even further anti-vax part of the right wing, because Trump has supported the vaccine since he was president when it was made, and he feels that he's partly responsible for that. And so he wants to take kind of the credit for the vaccine. So he can't get himself to be anti-vax like DeSantis is. So what he's trying to say is, I know y'all believe that DeSantis is your even more conspiratorial guy, but he even took precautions at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, DeSantis has responded to all these attacks here, and it is beautiful to see this debacle continue.
Well, look, what I would just say is this. I roll out of bed. I have people attacking me from all angles. It's been happening for many, many years. And if you look at the good thing about it, though, is like if you take a crisis situation like COVID, the good thing about it is when you're an elected executive, you have to make all kinds of decisions. You got to steer that ship. And the good thing is that the people are able to render a judgment on that, whether they reelect you or not. And I'm happy to say, in my case, not only did we win reelection, we won with the highest percentage of the vote that any Republican governor candidate has in the history of the state of Florida.
So he's pretty clearly saying there, listen, when you're an elected leader, as Trump was and as I am, you can tell how good you're doing and how popular you are by your ability to win re-election. And in my case, I won re-election by a very large margin. And he did, as unfortunate as that is. And as aggravated as that made me, he did indeed win by a very large margin. And that is proof that the voters of Florida, in large part, are behind him for some reason. And Trump, on the other hand, lost in 2020 and very much did not help the Republican Party in 2022. And so DeSantis is trying to frame himself as just as radical as Trump, but a winner. Trump is the loser. We need to move on from him. This is kind of just barely he's getting into that water where he can't say Trump's bad because Trump says all this conspiratorial stuff and is radical in all these different ways, because DeSantis is too. So instead it has to be, he would never say it this way, but kind of, I'm also conspiratorial. I'll also give you the vaccine misinformation, but I win and Trump doesn't. So pick me, would be, I think, his message in the possible 2024 presidential Republican primary matchup between Trump and DeSantis that I do hope to see.